Hello and welcome to another edition of For the Record. I'm Sean Murphy. My guest today is an old friend who's been on the show a couple of times. Her name is Christine Consiglio. You may remember her from CRC Styles. That still is Christine Consiglio. Welcome to the show.
Thank you so much for having me.
There's another fashion show. There's another fashion gala coming up, and
Yes.
this time it's all to benefit the Make-A-Wish Foundation, correct?
Yes.
All right. So if you have not seen the couple of other shows that Christine has been on, these fashion shows came about because of something that you were well versed and vested in. It was a personal reason for doing it, and we have to go back in time and talk about you and your youth and what happened health wise to cause what we're going to be talking about here today. So go back in time for us.
Well, I was born with a congenital heart disease, and what had happened was that when I was 14 years old, my doctor was telling my parents that I wasn't going to survive and whatnot. And that's when I found out that there was only 5 people in the whole world in that year that had the exact same heart surgery that I had.
Wow.
And that year, they were telling my parents that I wasn't going to make it. So therefore, they called Make-A-Wish Foundation, and they came to my house. And they came and said, hey, if you had any wish in the world, what would it be, So my wish that I had when I was 14 was to take my whole family to Hawaii. And my whole family and we flew to Hawaii. It was fantastic. The feeling that I got that day was extra phenomenal. So as I grew older, obviously I'm, doing pretty well.
Mm-hmm.
And now I am the only one in the world with this heart condition, actually, particular heart condition with the original Fontaine surgery.
Wow. So back then you were one of 5 people in the world that had the condition or had the surgery?
One out of 5 who had the condition,
Okay.
and then they also actually had the Fontaine surgery, which is when they just came out with it.
Wow, so you were on the cutting edge. It was
Cutting edge.
Yeah, wow.
Cutting
And
edge.
was that stuff all done for you locally here in Connecticut, or did you have to go somewhere?
It was at Yale.
Oh, it was at Yale. Okay, wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
Back then in 1985 at Yale, they had the best cardiac. And they still do.
They still do.
Exactly.
I was going to say.
They still do. They are really credited. They have great credentials. Yale Hospital is phenomenal.
Yeah,
and I love Yale.
Yale, New Haven. There's always going to be somebody whether it's a family member or a friend or maybe somebody you work with that has had experience with Yale New Haven Hospital because they're so cutting edge and top of line, and and you're one of those people for me.
Right.
So,
And right now, actually, because I am the only one right now, there's only 2 doctors that actually had taking me as a patient.
Right.
And
because it was so new right there.
Back then it was so new, whatever. And then now that I'm older, I'm so limited on what I can do. And now I see somebody that's even more of a professional that was dealing back then with that. Now they're in New York. So now they transferred.
So it's spreading out a little bit.
They transferred the knowledge and the research
Right.
a little bit, but not as much because obviously there's no research to be done if no one else is having this problem.
That's a good point, and that's always the question I want to ask somebody when they are dealing with it themselves. Do you keep up with the advancement in medicine for your condition? Do you see progress being made in the field? I mean, you're okay now.
Well, my doctor does.
Yeah.
My doctor is strong. Dr. Jakeen, he's out of New York City.
You can give him a plug. I mean,
he's amazing.
He saved you, right? Yeah.
Well, yes, many doctors have saved me, actually. I went through many practitioners that actually helped out the doctors as well as, confirming everything that from pacemaker, because when you have this particular heart condition, you have many conditions with it. So it's not just the heart. It's the blood, it's the valves, it's, everything that's pertaining with that. So, I mean, when you have a pacemaker, and those who do have pacemakers, there's a whole nother doctor for a pacemaker. you know.
Plus, you
So-
learn things that you can do and can't do with the pacemaker, things you can be around even
exactly.
and can't be. Yeah.
But I'm a bad patient.
Are you?
Sometimes.
So you break a lot of those rules, is what you're
Please,
saying.
that's what probably kept me here. You know, but yeah.
But so, and that when someone is dealing with, we'll say a health issue, it affects you personally, and you suddenly have a vested interest in it, and that's how you get involved, with with
Make
what,
a Wish.
yeah, with what you're doing today.
And-
Now, before Make a Wish, though, that actually came about with with CRC style. So we have to talk about that first, so tell us what that is.
Okay, CRC Styles actually created when I was in high school. And
You're quite the entrepreneur, huh?
of course, you
Yeah.
have to be. And now, actually, that it became so rapid and so many people wanted to work with me and in the industry, and everyone networks, everybody gives out their cards. So because my networking around all my networking statuses and all the people that have worked with me, they all enhanced their profile and their portfolios. And so as you're that young, you're starting out.
And you're learning
And
so much. There's so much you have to
exactly.
learn too, right?
Exactly. You're constantly keeping up with education. You're constantly going to classes. And with these people who are on professional level, they now from high school, you just starting. I mean, I was doing prom hair, homecoming hair.
But do they take you seriously when you're starting out that young and kind of creating?
Of course not.
No, of course not.
Of
right.
course not. But until they see the work,
Right. Then it's a whole different
then it's
story.
a whole different story.
Yeah.
You know? So back then, you don't charge,
No.
this, that.
No, because you want to get your name out there.
Exactly.
You want people to see your work.
Exactly. And I wasn't even hairdressing school.
Right.
But then when I graduated hairdressing school, and then we had
Then you had the license and you could
everything. I mean, I was a nail technician before as well, esthetician school. I mean, the whole beauty industry.
Right.
I'm a wedding planner. I mean, the whole beauty industry I'm knowledgeable about.
Mm-hmm.
So that's how I can, give professional advice and know what I'm talking about because I went through school for it. But nowadays, it's just to a level where I'm now gained my name, respected, and I appreciate and respect the people who work with me. And because of that and because of their work, I feel that the future is more to come because it's off of publicizing and creating teams.
Word of mouth is like the most important aspect of it, getting the word
Word
out.
of mouth.
As far as your hairdressing skills, I'm not going to need too much of your services, but
Well, hey,
yeah.
we could go for different looks. I
Yeah.
have extensions, toupees.
Oh, wow.
We could do
let's
lines
do-
with the, the
I'm
edge.
sure my
I could
director
do
would
your
love to see some of those
eyebrows.
images up
I
on the
think we
screen.
should do that
Yeah.
after the show today.
I'll get back to you on that.
Okay.
All right, so now we fast forward a little bit, and actually, let's go back a little bit too, because I just want to re-mention what you said. The Make-A-Wish Foundation granted a wish for you and your family to go to
Yes.
Hawaii, and you never forgot that.
Never. You know what? What made me never forget it was because my family went through so much stress while me being in the hospital that the people that I love the most, I was hurted by them being hurt. So I had stayed strong and a great support team. And so therefore, I felt like the only moment that I had in my life is when they came to bring a release of happiness, joy, and everything that you don't think about when you're in those moments. Bills, procedures, what ifs, how can we's, like all these questions, and then the medical, being in the hospital 24/7 for 3 months out of a time, and it just gets so tiring.
You
And
lose
then-
part of your childhood, being in the hospital that much, going through all those procedures.
Yes, and you know what? That's so true because it affects me as an individual, as long as us, as well as actually the closeness that I could have had when I was a kid with my sisters, And so now that I'm older, I have developed more togetherness. We were always so close, but because I was always in the hospital and my mother always having to be there and my grandparents, it did create that little distance there. And some siblings, when their other sibling is sick, they have to learn how to handle their parent not being there.
Sometimes they might get a little resentful because it affects their life too.
Exactly. And it's like, but you know what? That's what I'm saying is that as the family got older, you got closer, and you know what? They They are so good, and they're just so loving, and they understand more, and they're more, it's just a whole new ball field when you get older.
Now, you mentioned stress back then, dealing with that stuff. Nowadays, you have a different kind of stress to deal with, and that is putting on a gigantic fashion gala fashion show. Now,
Exactly.
granted, it all goes to Make-A-Wish Foundation, but let's talk about. So we're going to fast forward a little bit and describe how you decided to do these fashion shows, how that came about. That was your outlet. That was your way of like giving back, and it kind of helped you out in your career for what you do too.
Exactly. And because I love the community of fashion industry always, I actually created my own community. And because I created my own community 10 years ago, it has built up a strong foundation for now that we're creating our 10th annual fashion gala.
Wow,
Yep.
congratulations on that.
Thank you.
Tell me how it's evolved from when you started out from that first year to where it is now. Is it very different from those meager, humble beginnings
Yes.
of the first year? Yeah.
Yes, very much so. It's from the first year, I did everything on foot, door to door. I didn't know what I was doing.
Yeah.
I got donations from family and friends.
But you were still very committed to it.
Very committed.
Yeah.
100%. The clothing line was made out of recyclables. It was just a low budget.
Now, all I know is that today, one of the things that's different is you've learned how to delegate. So you're kind of more of it's so big now, and you've got so much staff, and people know what they're doing, and you've learned from all the mistakes of the past that you can kind of be an overseer and just kind of allow it to take shape, right?
Exactly, because when you give someone direction and you teach them something about the industry, they will then listen to you because they know more knowledge about what is going on. You know what I mean? And in the show itself. So creating a show that is ran, all shows are different, but it's how you run it. And running a show, you need a board, you need people behind you, you need key people to create their own teams, and you need highly professional people that know what they're doing already. But
Walk in, know what they're doing.
Walk in,
Yeah.
know what they're doing, and then I can then direct them on how the show is going to run.
So let's get very specific. Tell me about the show. What's going to be in it? What can we experience when we walk in?
Well, this show is the first year, and I have, this is the first year that we created a Beyond Elegance. Every year was elegance, but
Right.
now this year has been beyond an elegance.
Taking up
thing.
another level, huh?
Another level.
Yeah.
So as you enter into the gala, which is going to be at 380 Farmwood Road at La Bella Vista, which is a beautiful venue
In
Waterbury, Connecticut. Yep. It's essential for everyone, I feel. And so when they attend, you get accompanied by approaching, a great people who are going to guide you into the place, show you what is first, and seat you down.
So you're not
and-
just going to be walking around
Exactly.
like aimlessly trying to figure out what this is, what that is. But I assume it's got all the standard things that you would expect from a fashion show. It's probably a runway, right?
Actually, this is a gala, but it's also extravaganza at the
Gala
same time.
extravaganza. We're even up in
Okay.
the verbiage
Do you
on
want to
this.
hear?
Yeah.
Okay, so usually a gala, you only have a few vendors, correct? So this fashion gala, we have vendors like wall to wall this year. There's so many vendors there that the first probably 45 minutes to an hour, everyone's going to walk in, get accompanied by some champagne,
Wow.
relax.
This is high society. I like this. Yeah.
Come on in,
Yeah.
And we do have two areas. One is VIP, the other one's regular standing area. And then they walk in, they see the venues, and we have actually a woman named Laurie from Vintage Chic that will be singing in the foyer.
So there was entertainment.
So there's definitely entertainment as you walk in. You're going to be getting your photo taken behind the scene of the sponsorship board, and then you're going to go along and see the vendors that we have going on there. They're going to give away some samples. We have great vendors. the vendors that are going to be here are more health and beauty and candles and just a romantic feel of it. And we also have artists, airbrush artists as well. So we have a tasteful, side. And then you walk in, and we have lots of featured guests for the show this year. Amaryllis and
This is good. I knew it was going to be tough for you to.
Thank
say,
you.
yeah.
Yes. Amaryllis Rodriguez. She's from American Idol.
That's right. We got big
So
time celebrities
she's-
at this event, huh?
Yes, she's a singer for American Idol. And then we have also two, Susan Palladia and Lori Ann Merchant from cast members of Bravo TV,
Okay.
which is Games of Crown, which is amazing. And they have both their own businesses.
I know you have your notes here.
I
because
do.
this thing is so big, it's hard to, even for the organizer, to remember everything that's going on there. By the way, before I forget, all this information that you're saying now is going to be on the website, correct?
Yes, actually, yes. We have more people that are going to be added on this year. So we have more guests that are going to be added on to it. So it will be on the link to Facebook.
Okay.
We have a Facebook page.
Okay.
So we're doing everything through Facebook.
Now, we gave the where. Give me the when. What are the dates?
So the dates are October 26th, and it's from 6:30 and on. And children are welcome to come for the first part. And then after the show is over, we have some drag queens coming in and starting up the after party.
And
for
the
adults.
most important thing to mention in all of this is that it's for Make-A-Wish. That's where the proceeds go to, correct?
Yes, 100%. Make-A-Wish is the #1 that is going to get all the proceeds, and that's why we have all these people who are also dear to their heart. Everybody who's involved in the show has a reason for Make-A-Wish Foundation, so everyone has a story, and that is beautiful to hear. So everyone coming together, their heart is in it already because of the foundation that it's for.
Now, I know we're going to be cutting into Mary Ellis's time here in the second segment, but I have to ask you, because you got a chance to experience Fashion Week in Manhattan. Is that where?
Yeah.
So I want you to talk about that for a moment, because it's like a dream come true for you, isn't it?
Yes, remember the last show, and I was mentioning, before I was like, I wish I was in Fashion Week. Well, this year I have Paula, my director, to thank, because she had gotten me into New York Fashion Week this year. And
If you're in the fashion scene, that's a big deal,
it's
right?
a huge deal.
Yeah.
Yeah, to get invited, to be a guest for the whole week, even couture. I mean, couture is phenomenal, and that's this Friday. But last night we had the newer coming for the fashion. Fantastic. There's Mimi line. There's a line for, there's so many different lines that I have to tell you that the upcoming fashion is going to blow everybody's mind, because no one knows the work and the detail through every clothing. I mean, obviously these clothes are thousands of dollars that only probably not on average that people are going to wear daily.
Yeah.
But
Probably
for
not, yeah.
an event,
But for special occasions.
it's definitely the key to check it out. Yeah, Fashion Week is phenomenal. It's amazing. And
well, I think it's amazing that you came
Awesome.
back and were willing to be on the show and talk about this amazing gala that's coming up. So, Christine Consiglio, thank you for doing that.
thank you so much, Sean, for having me here.
We're going to take a break and come back. I'm Sean Murphy. This is For the Record. Stay with us. Welcome back to For the Record. I'm Sean Murphy. For this segment, I have on the show Mary Ellis Roman, who is the key makeup artist for this fantastic fashion gala coming up. First of all, welcome to the show.
Thank you for having me.
Before we really get into it a little bit more about what you do, Christine had so much more to discuss, including other people that were going to be involved in the show. Do you want to kind of mention them and kind of get it out of the way so that we can continue?
Yeah.
Okay.
We do have a few. We have Susanna Pagliata, who's actually a mother from one of the Toddler and Tiara's, little Isabel.
A very popular show.
Yes, yes. She actually has her own jewelry line. It's called Glitzy Girl Jewelry. She's actually going to be one of our celebrity guests. We also have Lorianne Marches, who is a cast member from Bravo TV. So we definitely have a few, guests that are pretty up there.
They're kind of like celebrity-esque.
Yeah,
absolutely.
celebrity-esque.
And they're going to be a part of this this gala. Don't want even going to call it a show. It's a gala,
Yes,
right?
it's a gala.
It's an event.
Yes.
So you have you have makeup by Bebs, right?
Yes.
And, so you specialize in makeup.
Yeah, I mean, I went to school for art, and then somewhere along the line, I was kind of thrown into it, and ever since then, I've been doing it. Been doing it for a few years now.
How'd you get involved with Christina and this show?
I was
This
actually, I was introduced to her by one of my friends who actually worked with Christine in the past on some of the shows. So she introduced us. We hit it off right away. After hearing her story and the reasoning behind the entire organization and the entire foundation for the fashion show gala, like I definitely wanted to take part in it.
And the fact that it was connected to Make-A-Wish, and,
Yes.
and that was important to her, and it sounds like it's important to you
Yeah,
too.
growing up, I mean, I definitely knew what Make-A-Wish was. It was televised, I, didn't go into it not knowing what it was. So the fact that she was actually one of the recipients of, a wish for the Make-A-Wish, like it definitely made me want to take part in her.
So now for this gala specifically, what will you be doing? Like, will you be sitting somewhere stationed the whole time, just working on makeup for everybody?
I'll be running around like a crazy.
Yeah. Which is what everybody does at these events,
yeah.
right?
We'll be working on a few models, well, more than a few models. We've actually added a few more. And pretty much I'll be working with my team, Isha Anaisa, she's also a makeup artist, and a few others who will be taking part in this event just to make things go a lot smoother and transitioning, being that there are going to be a few looks. So
have you been involved with an event this big in the past?
I've been working with Christine for some time now.
Is it really? Tell me how it's evolved, these shows, because I asked her that same question. You learn things, you learn what not to do, what to do, right?
Yes, every day is a learning experience. We learn something new all the time. So, just working with her in this short period of time, especially with Paula now, Paula's definitely taken a great part in assisting us and assisting Christine as well, and making sure that everything is down to the T and we're doing everything properly. And
as we tape this, obviously the event has not come up yet, but maybe you may be watching it as it is happening. But how are you still scrambling, like right up to like the date of the event? Are there still things to do, little details to work out? Is that right, Early?
Yeah. Until the day comes, I think when that day actually arrives is when we'll be a lot more calm.
Are there butterflies in the stomach, like right up until the event date
well,
itself?
there's urgency. You definitely want to, get to it, and you want it to happen. You want to see what all this time, that we've taken into putting into this. It's definitely a rush to see it all come together.
Right. And there's got to be a great sense of satisfaction when it is going.
Yes.
And I don't know if you want to say ever smoothly, because there's always a fire to put out, so to speak, right?
Fashion shows, there's always something.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And that begs the question, once you do wrap, what's it like? Is there like a great sense of relief as if we did it?
Yeah, there is.
And then how much downtime do you take? How much downtime do you take before you start planning the next one? That's
2 weeks.
2 weeks. So 2 weeks vacation, and then all of a sudden you're planning next year's event already.
Yes.
Wow. Wow. It's like a full-time thing, huh?
Pretty much.
So what are you expecting? What's the big thing for this gala coming up? What's the most exciting thing for you?
Just having, the ton of support that we've been getting from celebrity guests and, the entertainment team, the DJ.
Yeah,
the
that's the energy.
performers.
That's what brings it all. That's part of the excitement of it, right?
Yes, definitely.
And what time will you get there in the morning when this thing starts, or the night before?
9 o'clock in the morning,
Wow.
probably.
And just go all day. Huh?
Yeah.
Wow.
being that there's a lot of models, I mean, you definitely have to make sure they're prepped before the show. So
Are they are the models? Do they get diva-ish?
Not really.
No.
No,
they're
for
good.
the most part.
They're good about it. Yeah.
Yeah, for the most part, they keep it together, and they work with you, and they're very humbled people. So
Good. Just like the makeup artist, right?
Thank you.
The key makeup artist.
key makeup artist.
All right, let's take one more break and come back. I'm Sean Murphy. This is For the Record. Stay right there. So that is our show for today. Mary Ellis Roman, the key makeup artist. Makeup by Bebs is your place, right?
Yes.
The event, you can find all the details are on a Facebook page, right?
Yes.
Which we put the graphic up on the screen too. It's got all the details, the when, where, what, why, and all that stuff too.
Yes.
All right. You excited?
I'm super excited.
All right. It is coming up. You can see this show and many others on our YouTube site. Thank you guys both for being here
Thank you
today.
so much. Thank you.
I'm Sean Murphy. This is For the Record. We will see you next time. Take care.